Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my first time here because last year I presented remotely because of COVID, so a bit impressed, but so happy to be in front of you today rather than alone behind my webcam. So what I propose you today is to share with you a piece of works that we did to measure how the context of a TV exposure can impact the efficiency of a campaign. So before doing that, maybe a very quick presentation of who we are for some of you who do not know us. So CANAL Brand Solutions, we are the TV sales house of CANAL+. CANAL+, which has a very unique position in the French market, since we are both a publisher with pay and free-to-air channels, as well as a distributors with about 10 million customers in France and over 20 million all over the world. And knowing that our customers can access on MyCanal not only to our TV channels, but also to other pay and free-to-air channels, as well as to platforms like Netflix, Disney, and since the last few days to Paramount+. And as for us, we are currently the third largest TV sales house in France, just behind the TF1 and M6, sorry. So, in fact, as a sales house, in the context where people are facing a high uncertainty and even for some of them high anxiety, we wanted to better understand the role and the place of entertainment. And for this reason, we carried out a very large study, and which revealed that entertainment has never been as important as today. Indeed, we see here that we have 85% of people that declare that entertainment is an important part of their life, and this part have even increased since the pandemic. And when we ask them about their favorite activity, what we see is that watching movies and series pop up as their favorite activity. And that's before having dinner with friends or even before making love. So I guess some of you will imagine that it is typically a French cultural exception, but I'm not sure if it's the case, unfortunately, and I bet that we would have similar results in your countries. So, in fact, to meet this increasing demand for entertainment, what we are seeing is that the content offer is literally exploding right now, and every day we hear about the launch of a new AVOD or SVOD service. And in fact, we can imagine if we add to that all the competition of social and video platforms, that emergence has become a critical issue for media and for advertisers to catch the consumer's attention has become a key challenge. And because, as you all know, is that for a brand, of course, unseen is unsold. And so if in the media industry we used to say that content is king, when it comes to advertising, in the battle for attention, context is king. And this is actually what people tell us, because when they are asked, we see here that 55% of them declare that they pay more attention to the ad when it is broadcast around a content they are interested in, and it's even higher among the young population. And so what we decided to do is, in fact, to better understand how the context of TV exposure can impact the business and the image of the brand. And so to do so, we leverage all our TV consumption data collected through the set-top box of our million of customers in order to see how an actual exposure impact consumers' behaviors. So last year, what we did is that we decided to invest in a data clean room in order to be able to match in a very highly secured way our consumption data collected through our box with third-party data, and for instance, CRM data of an advertiser. And the idea here is, first of all, to measure the efficiency of a campaign by comparing purchase behaviors of people that have been exposed versus non-exposed to the campaign. But as we also collect all the information regarding what day, at what time, on which channel, and around which content the exposure happened, the objective also is to look on how the context of the TV exposure impacts on the behavior. So at the beginning, what we did is that we started matching our data with advertisers' data in order to measure the TV effectiveness and the context impact on purchase behaviors. But because TV must not be limited to a short-time purchase, we have decided to extend our measurement to a branding KPI, partnering with a research company. And we built a single source sample of about 10,000 CANAL Plus customers from whom we could both collect all TV consumption and exposure data through their set-top box and administer a questionnaire at the end of the campaign in order to be able to measure the level of awareness and image of the brand. And to make sure, yes, so the fact that we are able to match our data with advertisers' data and survey data allow us right now to measure TV and efficiency and also all the context impact at every stage of the purchase funnel. And in order to ensure that all the data collected through our set-top box were representative, what we did is that we compared audiences from our set-top box data with Médiamétrie data. So Médiamétrie is the equivalent of Barb. And you see here, when we compare the two curves, we can see a very high coefficient, correlation coefficient of 0.95, the maximum being 1. So we could confirm that all our data were representative. So the first thing that we looked at is how the context impact the ad recall, because as you know, ad recall is a key metric. With no memory of the ad, there is very little chance that the ad can have any impact. And what we see here is that, oh, sorry, we couldn't say, but I will tell you what is here. What we see here is that we have series, fictions, and then sport events that were systematically, the top context that over-indexed on ad recall. That means that for every campaign, people that were highly exposed around series, cinema, and sports live events were systematically more likely to have recalled the ad rather than those that have been highly exposed around other contexts. So what it means here is that most engaging contexts that require the full concentration and the full attention of TV viewers is driving more attention to the ad. The other thing that we looked at is the impact of context on the ad perception. And so here, as you can imagine, we have results that vary a lot depending on the product. And so what we are going to share here is the example on a sport brand. So people were asked whether the following statements applied very well, a little, or not at all to the ad. And what we present here is all people that respond that it applied very well, with the list of context that over-index. And there are two things that we see here. The first thing is that the context that over-indexed on the fact that that they are more likely to catch the attention of viewers are here, cinema and series. So this is, in fact, very aligned with what we noticed on ad recall. And note that for this campaign, there were no TV spots broadcast around live sport events. But a small part of the campaign was broadcast on InfoSport, which is a sport information channel. And what we see is that if InfoSport doesn't particularly overperform on ad recall, it was very close to the average with an index of 99. What we see here is that it performed very well on creating brand trust, and also to give intention to purchase the product. So what we see here is that relevant context have a positive impact on the brand image and the consideration of the product. So beyond declaratives, what we wanted to look at also is the impact of context on the bottom funnel. I mean the purchase behaviors. And what we did here is that we worked with a car manufacturer to match our data with their CRM data. Very concretely, what they did is that they uploaded on our platform online data reflecting specific actions on their website, as well as offline data since we went so far as the purchase of a vehicle at the dealership. And so what it allowed us, first of all, was to analyze the behaviors between exposed versus non-exposed in order to measure the efficiency of the campaign overall and by KPI. But also what we did is to go a step further and look at how context impact on the different KPI. And here, this is very interesting because we see here that context have a different impact depending on the KPI you are looking at. For instance, for offline data, so here it was more a long-term effect as it was purchasing a car, which is not something that you are doing every day. We see here that film, series, and here it was live sport events, overperformed on this KPI. But when we looked at another KPI, which were online KPI, so people that visit the website to get some information, we see that other context proved to be more performant. And typically, news, magazines, entertainment programs, which require, in fact, less concentration for the viewers. They are more likely to create immediate actions and to go directly to get some information on the website. And in fact, it's quite logical because when you are less concentrated in the content you are looking at, you are more likely to switch on your smartphone to get some information. So what it shows here is that context can play a different role depending on the KPI you are looking at. And then when we talk about context, it refers also to the time of the day. And so it was also for this car manufacturer, what we see is that the morning time was the time that performed the best in terms of conversion before prime time. And so, of course, it doesn't mean that the advertiser should put all its money during morning time, but it means that for this brand, morning time is a very relevant time slot that need to be included in the TV plan. So to recap, what we have learned from the data, from the set-top box data. The first thing is that we saw that the most engaging contents generate higher attention to the ad. So it means that advertising around cinema, series, live sport events can boost the brand awareness and the image. The second thing that we saw is that relevant context have a positive image on the brand. It means that although if they do not reach a massive audience, thematic channels, including fast channels, must be considered in a plan when relevant to the product. The third thing is that we saw that context can play a different role depending on the KPI you are looking at, which means that the context, as we saw, that require less attention, less concentration from the TV viewers, are very favorable to create immediate reactions when it comes to visit the website. So if your KPI is the visit of the website, typically this type of contents are very important to consider. And the last thing that we saw is that the sacrosanct prime time is not always the holy grail, and that being able to identify which other time slots are relevant for your brand is very important to optimize your plan, all the more that these time slots are more economical. So to conclude, I think that we all agree that context on TV definitely matters, and better understand how it impacts for your campaign, for your brand, can help to boost the efficiency of your TV campaign. So thanks for your attention, and of course happy to answer if you have any questions.
Great stuff. Do we have any questions for Emmanuelle on anything that she's presented?
Sorry, my English is not as good as yours.
Do we have any? Or okay. Oh, yes, at the back there.
Hi, Emmanuelle. It's Ali Vedati from Digital Eye. It's a really interesting presentation. And I noticed you put the R-squared value for this measuring how your viewing matched mediometry. But when you had those indexes, were they significant? Because like some of them were higher, and is 18% higher? What does it mean? Is it significant, or could it happen by chance?
Yes, no. In fact, what we showed here was significant because we were actually working on very large sample. Because once again, we matched exactly. It was 3.7 million of data from our customers, and in that case, we also have very massive data from the car manufacturers. So it was quite big. And regarding the single source sample size that we built with the research company, the sample size was 10,000 Canal Plus customers, so it was quite huge. This is why we decided to present those.
That's really
results.
impressive. Thank you.
Fantastic. I think we've just hit 0 on the timer, so could everyone just join me again in giving Emmanuelle another round of applause?